The way she jumped over me, her pussy literally hit me in the face.
Hello, snipers! Welcome to the podcast. This is Not For Radio. We are your hosts, Dunc and Hyde, Jay Reeve.
Huzzah.
An amazing couple of episodes on the Sniper Elite episodes. Like if you've been thinking about jumping on and paying the old subscription, there has been two of the best episodes this week. Been a short week, ended up being Tuesday, and then yesterday as well.
I'm just going to say, just get it, if nothing else, for Horace's story that we did yesterday. That is in my top 5, I reckon, and it got better and better, and I saw where it was fucking going, but it hit Dunc between the eyes like a cricket ball at 140 clicks.
I thought I already got the ending of it.
Nah.
And then the ending was even more outrageous. And then it ended up beating one that had a $3,000 ass torpedo.
Yeah. As an example, that's the caliber that popped out yesterday.
Yeah. So obviously there's those available if you want to jump on and become Sniper Elite, become part of the top brass, unlocks double the amount of episodes, ad-free, all that sort of stuff too. Don't forget we're on YouTube as well. We have a show sponsor as well. And this episode brought to you by the legends at Jim Beam. Best enjoyed together since 1765, which is ridiculous. Jim Beam embodies over 230 years of tradition, making every sip a taste of history.
Yeah, and we love being a part of it as well. Love being a part of that rich tapestry, that beautiful culture.
So we've got a guest on today's podcast who's going to be the majority of it. He is one of Jay's idols.
Yeah.
He's a superhuman when it comes to the output of the work that he does, and the style is just so on point. He's carved out his own niche when it comes to just doing epic stuff.
Yeah, he is the king of cool in my eyes, and it's kind of almost been a thread for this. Just interesting people that you would love to sit down, have a beer and a meal with. You need to fit that criteria to basically be on Not For Radio, and fuck me, he ticks every single box with a vivid.
But first, a war story.
Attention, snipers! Gear up and hold your positions. It's time to load up some war stories. Your tales from the front line, brought to life. Prepare to fire.
So this one here is from Paul O'Hara, under the category of Watch Where You Step. So 21 years ago, as a fresh-faced, newly qualified electrician, I had hopes and dreams of changing the world one light bulb at a time. It was a hot summer in Glasgow, Scotland, and it doesn't happen often, but this is important later in the tale. Armed with a bottle of Iron Brew. Fuck, it's so delicious. Have you had it?
No, what is it?
Oh, it's the original soft drink. They recently just won the best TV commercial, globally, for this Iron Brew. Apparently it goes great with vodka as well. So armed with a bottle of Iron Brew, 20 smokes and a sturdy lighter, I set out to do my only job of the day. One of those classic, how many ciggies you doing a day? Fucking pussies. I'm doing a lighter a day. Feeling a new sense of freedom in my beat-up white Citroen van with no older electrician with me, I arrived at the job for the day. It was a council house, not just any council house, but my best mate James' mum and dad's council house. I hadn't put two and two together when my boss had handed me the job card. His mum welcomed me at the door. James and his dad were at work. The job was to run a new supply for the new gas boiler that was to be fitted the following week. The house was a bungalow. I love a little bungalow. Awesome. Up from fuse box, across the attic, down the wall, in the kitchen. Winner, fucking chicken dinner. Only job for the day. I'll be home for lunch. No ciggies left. Up in the attic, I'm as quiet as I can be, as my mate's mum has said his older sister is asleep. She's a nurse, just finished nights, and I should mention this drop-dead gorgeous blonde 24-year-old was the object of many a teenage tug in my younger days. I pulled in my cable in the attic, no pun intended, connected it up, and was just finished when disaster. Old fucking dickhead here misplaced her foot, fell backwards, went crashing through the plasterboard ceiling in Gemma's room, landing close to her bed, surrounded by insulation and plasterboard. I sat up at the same time Gemma did. She got the fright of her life, and I got the sight of mine. Remember I said it was a hot Scottish summer? Jem had dispatched her PJs and was in the fucking buff. In her panic at seeing her room in tatters and her brother's best mate dusty and bleeding and sleepiness, she threw herself out of bed, not realizing the proximity of my head to her downstairs operation. The way she jumped over me, her pussy literally hit me in the face. She grabbed a robe and legged it. James's mum came to see the commotion and help me up. In the kitchen, tea was made. Gemma patched me up whilst I arranged for the plasterers to come and sort the mess. Hours later, I'm in the pub with James and some other mates, having the piss ripped out of me for falling through his sister's bedroom ceiling. It would appear the part of the story where she was bare-assed had been left out. My round, I'm at the bar. Gemma appears at my side. Immediately, I'm fucking bright red and offer my apologies. Again, she says not many guys have seen what I'd seen earlier today, especially without buying her a drink. Whew. A drink is hastily procured by the way of an apology. She joins in on the piss ripping with her mates and mine in tow, but weirdly seems to be more touchy-feely, saying, "Oh, poor boy, all his bumps and bruises." At this time, the smoking ban had just come in, whereby you could no longer smoke in pubs. Needing a rest from the piss taking, I went outside for a smoke. Gemma joined me alone outside. She says, "You've seen mine, so surely I get to see yours."
Oh my
Fucking
God.
Here we go, boys.
Oh, this is a lot. This is a lot. How's he going to play it?
Someone give me a warm flannel. I'm into this. Teenage dreams come true. This bombshell doesn't think I'm a complete twat. She's running her hand over the massive lump on my head, kisses me, says I've nowhere to sleep tonight, so comes back to my flat. The rest, they say, is history. 20 years later, 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a horse. Falling through the bedroom ceiling was the best thing I ever did. Fuck, my kids love the PG-rated version of the story, and my mate still hates me for pumping, marrying, and procreating with his sister.
Yes, boy! You fucking little beauty!
His mum still bitches that the ceiling in that room has never been the same. What a result! Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is so outrageous.
What a lad.
All time.
Whoo-wee. Well done. Well done, Paul.
Tell you what, this podcast just keeps getting better and better and
This
better.
back to back, eh? This is 2 wins.
Some week.
Showboss Teagues, what a fucking qualified miner you are. The thousands and thousands of tales getting sent through, and you are just on a heater.
Wow. Okay, let's take a break. We're going to get into our guest. You're going to bloody love him, and we'll catch you on the other side.
He's going to be so pumped to hear his interview after this.
Well, everyone do us a favour. Just buy his book.
Then we're cool.
Then we're good.
Yeah.
Then it's not going to matter. And we'll put a link in the episode on how you get your hands on his
Yeah.
book as well.
Warning. This podcast contains explicit content, strong language, and graphic stories which may be offensive or upsetting to some listeners. If you are sensitive and don't have a dark and twisted sense of humour, please fuck off and listen to something else, because this is not for radio.
Our guest today is a proper Kiwi legend. We are massive fanboys of this bloke, and his name is stitched into the fabric of the New Zealand food and hospitality industry. Al Brown isn't your typical TV chef. He's more of a storyteller with a fishing rod in one hand and a spatula in the other. Co-founded Logan Brown, one of New Zealand's best restaurants, hosted a bunch of TV shows, created Depot, fed Deli, to absolute Auckland institutions. He is the master and the man behind relaxed dining, New Zealand's cuisine. He's cooked for world leaders, fished every corner of Aotearoa, and probably poured more beers for strangers than most bartenders. His new book, Hooked, dives into his lifelong love of fishing, the food, the people, and the stories that come with it. So welcome to the pod, the one, the only, the incomparable Chef Al Brown.
Hello, mate.
What an absolute privilege and what an intro. Thank you so much.
Do you know? I know I've heard a million chats that you've had. Most notably, recently between two beers was great. Really enjoyed that. And I heard that you don't really like the term chef. You'd probably consider yourself more of a cook.
Yeah, and don't like the word celebrity either. when they put that in front of a chef, I think that's hopeless.
But you think, but what we do have though is there is fuck all famous people in New Zealand. So as soon as you're on TV, that makes you a celebrity. That's the qualifying factor.
I know, but that's hopeless. You know, a celebrity to me is, you know, Mick Jagger. That's that's
a high
a
bar.
celebrity. Yeah, it is. It is.
If you had to put one hat on, what hat would you prefer to put on? Whether or not, you know, chef, restaurateur, writer, TV host, angler.
I think cooks. You know, we'll go back to cook. I mean, I think it all stems from that, and because it's all interrelated. It's always about food, and so, you know, and it's like, I don't know, it's like if you start off as a builder and then then you have your own business, you never really get back on the tools that often, but you still really love the tools. So, you know, I'm certainly, you know, I just love cooking, and I love everything around sort of informality and getting people around a table or anywhere eating food and having a few bevies and things, and I think, you know, informality is what we do the best in the world, in this country, and I think we should be trying to wave that flag the whole time. And you know, we have some of the best chefs in the world, the Vaughan Maybes and things, that do extraordinary stuff, but which is amazing. But it's not my jam. That's all.
You do cool shit. I think when anyone asks me, like, if they, how would you sum them up? I'm like, there's everything. There's an understated cool to everything that you've done. I think from the onset, since when, like, as a cooking teacher, when I first got into the classroom, the first book that I got of yours was, I think it might have been like Go Fish or something. And prior
Hunger
to
for the Wild, maybe.
it might have been that.
Yeah.
It would have been that early on. But then it was like the series where you had the Toyota and you're cooking off the back
flat
of
deck,
it and just doing heaps of cool. And I was like, man, that guy does some cool shit. And then when I moved to Auckland, and now it's kind of like when you set up Depot and for Deli, I'd walk past Logan Brown countless times, absolutely weaseled on Cuba Street.
Yeah.
Never in a state to go in the door.
Yeah, kebab halfway down your shirt.
Yeah. Abracadabra down on whatever corner place or whatever it was. And I always wanted to go in there, and I never made it in there. And I'm kind of almost glad that I
doubt you would have
didn't.
been let in there either. So,
But I love the fact, and it easily two of my favourite establishments in New Zealand are what you've got tucked in under the Sky Tower there. And you would say arguably relatively different. And then on the other side, you've got Best Ugly with the big purpose-built Canadian thing. You just don't do shit by halves, and you fucking commit. And I love that about you.
well, thank you.
And you made me put on about 30 kilos in bagels when we were right across the road. Shit, they fill you up and they make you a fat bastard.
Good. Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned the way back in the Logan Brown stuff because, I thought when I learned to be, I went to culinary school in the States and I thought, if you're going to, like lots of New Zealanders, that's sort of that underdog title, we're going to take on the world, we're going to try and do the best we possibly can. So, I thought I had to be a fine dining chef because that's where it was all about. It was all about that. And we did it, and we did a great job at Logan Brown and won lots of awards and bits and pieces. But I always felt like the jacket didn't fit in a sense of, I found the formality quite stifling, and that sort of, Kiwis don't, you walk into a fancy restaurant, you're nervous, and
it's almost like driving past a cop. You go,
yes,
oh,
yeah,
jeez, what about?
And what if I pronounce the wine wrong or
how
I
many
drop my
spoons
fork?
are they going to have on the table?
Yeah, and so. It's interesting, so we did it well, but I always sort of thought, actually, this isn't for me. And when I left Logan Brown, we'd done that Hunger for the Wild show, and I thought I'd have a crack at writing a book around fishing or fish, go fish. And it wasn't. It was only that I was approached by Peter Gordon actually, because he had a restaurant at Sky City. The Sugar Club, and he said, would you be interested in opening a restaurant up there? And I said, no, I'm done. I'm done with the restaurants. The only thing I'd open, if I do anything again, was I just open an oyster bar. That way I don't even have to cook. I just open oysters. Someone pours some booze,
oyster
and we're
alcohol.
there.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how how Depot sort of morphed into what it did.
And best laid plans, obviously, then it became just a great fight. And it's like in terms of when I take people out, I mean, don't even know if you remember, after the World Cup, brought Jerome Kano through.
Yes.
He gets shocking gout, so he had this massive pill of, big handful of those pills, the anti-gout pills, and he just crunched them like a pack of Tic Tacs, and he just freaking buffed that raw bar like no tomorrow. He was like, my big toes are going to be cooked tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then when I got Shane Cameron in the team after I
Yes,
got my
that's
face punched
right.
in, we went in for dinner as well. Like, it is a place that I take people of significance in my life to show them that I care about them. And I think that informal dining that you always talk about is absolutely nailed. It's delicious. I took from Taranaki the farmer, Kane there, and because he
Sam.
No, not Sammy Kane. Kane. Briscoe. He's a Taranaki farmer. I took him in there, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on? You take me out to dinner, and I'm eating shit that I feed my dogs. There's fucking rabbit on here. We're having shaved ox tongue,
Water and tin cups,
yeah,
mismatched cutlery.
Yeah. And he's like,
Nice one. You really love me. Yeah.
We've got a pork hock. We've got a shaved beef tongue. We've got there's a rabbit,
Ribs, lamb ribs and stuff. Yeah.
It's like, fucking, you always think this is fancy. You fucking have this at home every day.
Yeah.
But done well, it's simple done well is very hard.
Yeah, well, and look, the secondary cuts thing is what we're all about, and that's the the eating proposition. I always think the value proposition of eating a fillet steak with truffle butter is no more than a great casserole of beef shank or something like that, or hind or something. But that the idea that you can make things, you can have just as much pleasure out of anything that's a cheaper cut, is something that, and it takes a little bit more work, and it's low and slow, and everyone's into that sort of thing now. But teaching people to eat all the, we serve fish belly or fish wings, and I was up the line in the weekend and got some snapper and trevally and kinner, and folks that I was cooking for there, they weren't really kinner people, but I got them. I floured them and I put them on vogels, and I took the livers of the fish, and fish liver's just absolutely delicious, like a chicken liver. And again, to be able to show people, and the people just go, "Fuck, I can't believe this."
I don't actually mind this now.
Yeah.
It's the win for you.
Yeah, it's great.
The reframing.
And that probably hooked Learning to Fish, which is a great book. But just to go back to your love of fishing, do you remember the first fish that you caught? Do you remember what it was, that feeling of excitement? Was it a freshwater fish, saltwater fish? I think the first thing I caught was a tuna, an eel.
Yeah, well, that's the same as me.
Yeah.
And you grew up in the rural
farm. Yeah. And Dad used to put a standard between my legs so I wouldn't get ripped into the river by it, just so I wouldn't get carried away, because they're massive.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was mad keen on eeling.
Yeah.
And we would have been the same, just had some twine wrapped around a piece of kindling.
Yeah.
And, a long shank hook and probably an old nut or a screw for a sinker.
Yeah.
And, we used to call it the river, but it was really just a muddy creek. But to go down there and, if you find a possum on the road, you'd tie some baling twine around that'd be burley. Throw that in the throw that in there, and sit there, and your bait would be something from the killing shit, a bit of mutton or
something
some
something you could reach in the offal pit.
Yeah, and put that on,
out.
and then sit there, and there's something about that, and I write about it in the book, about I think fishing. There's something. The word anticipation is the word that I always.
It's a weird one, though, because you're super relaxed at the same time when you're on the water or near water.
Yes, but
the anticipation is at an all-time high.
It's the anticipation about going with you. I'm going fishing tomorrow. What's the weather going to be like? Where are we going to go? It's the next cast. It's the next lure. It's the only anticipation the whole time.
Yeah, it's the only thing that in life that I don't mind setting an alarm clock for, and I'll spring out of bed. So it could be 3:30, and there could be a bit of a drive, and you're going to have the sun coming up once you got the boat in the water, and like that, I spring out of bed. Like there is nothing like it for me.
Could you sleep on opening and duck shooting Eve?
No, shit, no.
Same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And then when it's, you want to know anticipation.
Yeah.
And pressure. Like the first year, because we shoot the fucking Rolls Royce of ponds, like amazing, purpose-built, custom ponds, fed all year, just amazing. We get access to a farm. It's all private. It's mega. And we shoot 2 ponds. Smackers in the morning and Matty Carl's in the afternoon. And they're the box seats. So the first time I'd ever been duck shooting was in this setup. Everything's laid on. I'm shooting with great Berettas that my mates own, and they're like Maddie and Tilly, our mates, are just incredible shots. So we get whipped in. I get a spot in the Mai, and me and Dunc are on fire. I'm just like boom, 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 not missing anything. So now I'm thinking I'm here. Next year I go back. I couldn't hit a fucking barn door, and then I'm in the doldrums. Like I'm like borderline depressed for 12 months, waiting to have another crack at it. You sit there just jittering, and you hear because you got the muffs on. You hear and the dog's peeking out.
Yeah, they're all looking up. You're keeping your head down. Yeah, no, but it is the same, isn't it? Hunting, I guess, and fishing. Is that sense of anticipation. So back to sitting on the side of the creek, and just watching and waiting, and then to see an eel from under the bank come up, with its fucking nostrils flared, and coming up, and and watching watching the line, and just start seeing it move, and then that first weight on is the tug is the drug.
Oh yeah,
and the
Jay's been saying that for years.
That never.
So I'm going to spread that across my life. It's fuel my pillars, I reckon.
But you're right.
Yeah,
and it never ends.
Nah.
Just the weight coming on with the fish of anything of any size. Even I love fishing with kids off wharfs for sprats. Anything. It's just the same thing.
Sunday,
Yeah, we had the boys at the Mount on Sabikis, and we're catching, like generally kids when they're sort of 5 or 6 years old, they're like, this is boring if they're not catching something straight away. And the boys were sort of getting to that point, and then a school of mackerel ran straight under, and every single hook on the Sabiki got taken. It's fucking pandemonium.
Just everything tangled up.
And they're like, just reeling everything in on it. Chill. And the other one's like, come on as well. It's like, but the excitement in your eyes, I don't reckon you ever forget it.
Yeah, and the beauty of being out in nature, whether it's a wharf or out on a boat or a rocky headland, or you're constantly looking at what's going on, and you're constantly thinking, or walking up a river, fly fishing. It's the next cast, it's round the corner, it's the tide's going to change shortly, or I've got too much. You're constantly thinking. But for a kid to pull up, a tiny little piper or a sprat, or they're fish are beautiful things. When you look at them, no matter how big they are, and that whole sort of, and that's where kids should start to learn to fish, is exactly what you're talking about off a wharf, and understand, and because most of the time you're releasing fish there, that's a great place to start, as well as putting fish back and treating fish with respect, et cetera. So I mean, there's all that in the book,
and that's what's so great about it. It's from entry level to relatively expert as well, because we talk about it often, you just don't ever crack it. Like you can't
clock
fishing. You can be good, you can be great, but you're never, like I watched, there's a Japanese guy who apparently the cast is still traveling through outer space. He was on the surf caster, and he does this whip and sends this thing. I reckon it must be close to 400 metres. This thing just disappears. And I'm like, he'd be close, but when you've got a wishing stick in hand, you still don't know what's coming on.
Yeah.
And if you're across the back of a boat and one person's hitting and nobody else is, and you've got the same hooks, and the same, you're like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's why I love spearfishing, because it's more selective. And you get to see, at least it's on you if you miss.
Yeah, well, that's right. And, and there's that lovely kind of saying that 10% catch 90% of the fish, which I think is a really a pretty true thing. And in the book, so, well, I don't think I'm in the 10%. I hope I'm sort of getting closer to it. But most people, so many people just love to fish with a bit of squid, a pole, a bit of weight, and out there with their mates. And occasionally they catch a feed, and occasionally they'll catch a big one and take a photo of it and look at this. But at the end of the day, they only know one knot, and it's from Granny. And
it's usually 6 grannies in behind something. I wonder why it's pigtailed at the end when something decent gets on it.
And so the book started out for kids, and the first my publisher said, "Can you write a book about your love of fishing, aimed at sort of 8 to 12-year-olds. And I went, oh, yeah, okay, I'll have a think about that. And I thought, first chapter, if you're going to be a fisherman, you're going to need a hat. And these are all your options, and this is going to make you look like that. And then I thought, well, if you're going to be a fisherman, you're going to need to know the whole lingo because the language is completely different. And it's a fun language to learn as well. But after that, I went like, what's next?
Yeah, where do you go from there?
Yeah, where do you go from there? But so then, of course, it just morphed into something that was more for the batch for everybody. And here's 6 different types of knots, and these are all the different types of lures, and these are all the different types of rods, and obviously threw some recipes in the back there as well. So it sort of turned out. It started as a book for kids, and I think they'll love it, and they are loving it. But it's also, Dad, what's a running rig? I'll go and have a look in Hooked.
Back to the eel, I'm assuming the first eel you caught you didn't eat.
No.
However,
because we're farming, if I got onto when we were shearing, which was in December always, I used to keep the eels and swap them for fizzy. With all the shearers, because the shearers only eat mutton and hog it from farm to they were all stayed in shearers, and the farmer always supplied the meat, and so they loved the change of diet. So
entrepreneurial, from a very early age.
When I was
the
right
seeds have been sown.
Yeah.
And then, so what's the first thing you caught or shot that you remember actually going through the process of them preparing a meal with?
I think the first real early memories, we used to so I grew up in the Wairarapa, and we used to have an old wooden caravan nicknamed the Pie Cart at Castle Point, and we used to go over to a place called Matakona, and the fathers would go out for crays. And they just have a Hessian sack. Yeah. And like
a single lens dive mark.
Yeah, exactly. Not much.
Not much gear. Stuff.
Yeah, not much gear.
2 jerseys on in the winter.
yeah, exactly. 1 fin.
Yes. Someone had a set of wetsuit pants from town.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hello, legend. We're just pausing the podcast for a moment to let you know that we have some great news.
Yes, Uber One is paying you to be a member.
Yep, if you're new to Uber One, you'll get $10 of Uber cash back each month you remain a member until the end of the year.
You'll also get access to loads of other additional savings and perks across Uber and Uber Eats, like a 5% Uber credit on all rides or $0 delivery fees on eligible orders.
How good. Sign up to Uber One for $9.99 a month and it will basically pay for itself. Ends 31st of December. T's and C's, minimum spend and fees apply.
Anyway, but we used to get the power.
Yeah,
and we would just get power in the rock pools at low tide, and so that's the first memory, because then we'd go back to the campground and have the old mincers, and that we'd mince it and do the power fritters, and that was the first sort of, I guess, understanding the joy of helping contribute to the table, I think.
Were you running this is just an interesting question because everybody has their own power fritter mix. Are you running a gut sack to every 3
the
power?
hua?
Yeah.
Well, I am now.
Yeah.
Back then, I don't think we were. But I would probably isn't that ridiculous? You're still allowed 10 power, but which is, I think, it's way too many. However, if you've got a big party coming up, 10 power is great. I'd throw 2 or 3 hua into that for sure. That's just lovely. It's like the gravy out of the cray head.
Yes, which often gets over. So so for the uninitiated, I call it a rip and dip because it's just the guts go orange inside the cray head, and then you pull the tail out and you dip it in there. This little stuff. We had a surf comp in Kaikoura, so we'd come in from our heat and you just reach around, pick up a rock that would have 3 dinner plate sized powers on it, chuck them in your wetsuit, and we'd be waiting for our heats, cooking them over a disused shopping trolley on the rocks, and swapping them out with locals going past with crays, and it's delicious. I love that seaside fare, eh?
Yeah, and the thing about, if we're talking about power and crays, and they're wonderful to eat and they're wonderful to get, but to to give them away because you can't eat too much of them anyway. It becomes really, like that. What was it in Boy? Or not crayfish sandwiches again.
Great movie.
But to hand someone, a cooked crayfish as a koha or a present or something, there's nothing, and that's the joy of fishing as well. It's about thinking, and I do a lot about in there about sort of sustainability and thinking when you're at the boat ramp, how much fish do you actually need? And if you're having a party, like I said, you need more, you know. But if it's just the two of you, keep 1 or 2 fish, and you can fish all day and just keep putting fish back. That's the thing. I mean, obviously, if you're taking them up from really deep, you probably can't. But the barbless hooks and releasing, and I think that's the thing about, releasing fish now has become, it started a catch and release term was sort of part of the fly fishing community, and it seemed abhorrent really when we're growing up. I've got photos of me with 24 kahawai sitting in the sun, standing there like a lion hunter or something. I can't believe we used to do that. But
our batch in Golden Bay, there's a same thing, a photo from the olden days, and when you could still use set nets, and so we'd there'd be low tide, we'd put the set net out, and
there was 6 seals,
even at
3
that point,
dolphins.
there's bugger all.
the last breeding pair from that
Dunc's the
region.
reason why I've got no Maoris dolphins left. Used to be in Golden Bay, now they operate. There's 60 of them off.
Well, admittedly, I was only watching from the beach. I'll probably put that on Grandad. But there's a great photo where they've got a wheelbarrow full of kahawai, and I was like, what ended up happening to that? And I remember
Minced into the garden.
Yeah, I remember Dad saying, "Oh, they're having way too much. Like none of them wanted to eat them. They had that much." And they're like, everyone always goes, "Oh, you can only smoke them or whatever." Kahawai fresh is one of the best fish ever.
It's so good.
Yeah, and I've served it up to multiple people at my house with snapper and kahawai on the same plate, and then I'll tell them at the end, there was kahawai in there. They're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "See."
Yeah.
You just once you cut the red bits out of it, then no one knows the difference.
Well, I even like the bloodline.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it's a bit stronger in there. But I think the kahawai is our greatest fish. You can eat it every which way. It gives you the greatest scrap. It is.
And they were just burying it into the garden, so they got sick of it. But we have really good gardens.
I bet you have a good lemon tree.
we do.
Yeah. I reckon bang for buck too. We had this rock boat. Remember that time we went out off the back of Waiheke, and there's
Oh
like
my
2
gosh.
rugby fields size of this massive schooling car, dolphins and seabirds and everything. And I was standing on the roof and just flicking a lure and just getting ripped and then smacking them off on the side of the boat and just going again.
Yeah.
And that was the greatest fun that we've
Because
had.
we figured out they weren't feeding. It was hilarious. We were casting lures into them, and they would spread out, and they weren't taking anything. And then we're like, what happens if we just wind real fast through the middle of it?
hooking them.
And so if we were just snagging them, we probably caught about 30 or 40 each.
By the tail. Great
Because
spotting.
people actually do that, don't they? With a 3-bar hook.
Yes.
They just toss that in and drag it through and rip into them.
Yeah, so we were having bloody a good bit of luck. But yeah, it's moments like that keep you going back fishing when you're like, what is Mother Nature going to serve up for us next?
Yeah.
And then you couple that with obviously taking the feed home and then spending the time preparing the fish properly and then feeding those around you and then the shit bit of washing down the boat and all the grubby fishing gear. But it's all part of it, it's the process.
And the shit days out there too.
Yeah.
And
where
they make
you
those
don't,
ones so much better.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a great a guy absolutely nailed it. He's like, why are you paying $37, $40 a kilo for snapper when you can be out here having spent $1,500 on petrol, $4,500 on life jackets for a $400,000 boat?
Yeah.
I mean, just do the maths on it. This is a great investment. I know that you love doing a bit of wharf fishing because particularly for the squid, it becomes United Nations and you get some really great conversations happening.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never caught one.
And it's great. They're great fun to
hard to
fish,
catch?
and they're also delicious and amazing.
They're
amazing.
the
eating.
best protein out of the sea.
Yeah, I do like eating them, but I've never learned. I mean, well, obviously we can go learn about it in the book, but what is the process? And are they just hanging around wharfs all the time, or what?
It's not just. It's anywhere along the shoreline. And there's 2 sorts. There's the big arrow squid. That's the big commercial guys. With the lights out deep, catch lots of around the world. But in New Zealand and Australia, I think it's the same. They're called a broad squid, which is an inshore squid. any kind of rocky terrain with kind of weed beds nearby. It doesn't have to be off a wharf, but you can, the Lee Wharf up the line just north of Matakana. That's got great territory for squid, so you catch lots of people go up there at squid. But if you drive along Tamaki Drive at night and see all the lights, it's amazing the amount of people that go out and target these
And
after dark.
How many are allowed to keep?
Well, you don't. I mean, the best I've done. Oh, actually, and people think that you only catch them at night. We've had a great fishing. And actually, with Aaron from Just Another Fisherman,
nice.
he loves targeting squid as well.
Yeah.
So I've caught. We've caught at times. I think. A couple of dozen in the day.
Man.
Yeah, off. Yeah, it was off. It was off Matakana, somewhere, around the rocks there, and up at the Batch. I've started finding them, but they it's a term called egging, and it's a Japanese. You need and the jig. You flick out a jig, and it's kind of made of polystyrene with a pattern on it, but it's got a weight, so it slowly goes down through the water column, and then you kind of jig it, which I think is called the egging, and so it comes back up, and then it starts dropping back down, and then they just attack it, and
It's got a million hooks on it.
Yeah, it's got but no barbs. So you
Yeah.
got to keep the
keep
weight
pressure
on
on.
it, to bring them. And they don't pull line.
Yeah.
But they're just cool. They're cool to see. They're cool to catch, and shit, they're good to eat.
I reckon I've been fishing for 36 years and I've never caught one. Now all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to scratch that itch there.
Yeah, you got, and you will love it.
Is it just wrapping up the season for it now? Is it?
Well, they say winter is the best,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
if you ever walk under the harbour bridge at this time, you know when the squid are in because you'll see the squid ink on the tarmac. On the path,
Yeah,
where you're on the
yeah,
footpath.
yeah.
Yeah. And so that'll tell you. But I caught a squid Christmas morning. At 8 in the morning when my daughters were swimming next door. So you get them. I think 6 months of the year. Anyway.
Jeez, we live in a great country, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Like even that sentence, I caught a squid Christmas morning, and
Yeah.
then knowing that you probably cooked it that afternoon as
Yeah,
well.
we did. We
Like,
did.
we live in the
Yeah.
greatest country on planet Earth. We really
Sure
do.
Speaking of, without giving away the location, you have got one of the most incredible slices of land, coastal property in New Zealand by my measure. I mean,
I reckon it's the best, but
it is absolutely insane. It's one of my favourite parts of the country. I've got friends who live down the road, friends' parents who live down the road from you, and the special setup. Dunc goes camping there quite a lot as well.
I'll do you.
But it's the
We're there Jan 10th, I think,
Yeah.
for 10 days.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's
We'll
a
see you then.
mad little setup. Surf beaches followed by sheltered bays, fishing, diving, surfing. It just sort of ticks all the boxes. When you managed to lock in being the custodian of that incredible piece of coastline, was that a real pinch yourself moment and a bit of a kickback and go, fuck, I've made it?
It's still a pinch myself moment, and it's a pinch myself moment every hour of every day I'm up there. I just think it's extraordinary, and I am looking after it as a custodian. That's how I look at it, and I'm planting it all back into. There was some of the property was put into pasture, and that's all going back into native. No, look, I just love this country, and to have an opportunity to be somewhere around the coast with privacy and be able to grow. I'm doing a lot of growing now,
Yeah.
a lot of vegetables and that sort of thing, and to that idea of being able to live off the sea, and ultimately want to live up there as well. So it's got a great little batch on it at the moment, and we'll probably move the batch to another part, shift it somewhere, and then build a little home up there and sort of live there as well. But the thing about New Zealand, I think, is that when we used to do Hunger for the Wild, we used to have people come up to you and go, "Shit, we got this little spot. Would love to show you where it is, but if you had the cameras, you wouldn't be able to show the tops of the hills because people might recognise where it is." But isn't that beautiful? And everyone has a place.
Yeah,
Everyone, you have a batch
Yep.
down there. You have it. We all have. You're up the mountains, or you're this, or a river, or a lake, that's what you mentioned. It is the greatest country in the world, and we just we may not have much in our bank accounts, but boy, do we have we won lotto?
Yeah.
You know? And I when I stumbled over this property, and it was kind of meant to be. In a way, the way that I went to my accountant and I said, I've seen a piece of land and I'll sell everything for it, and so I did. So I've been renting in the city for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not now. I have a partner and I live with her, but if you find a place that just really, it sings to me, and I find it's very spiritual for me, and I have a busy life in the city. I love the city. I love the energy of the city. I love all that, but I love the balance of solitude for sure.
And just building those stocks back up for a helicopter in the helipad just in behind the little Tibetan yurt there, so you can drop and piss the neighbours off. Out of all of the things, like in terms of when it comes to cooking stuff, I've got a bunch of favourite things. And one of my absolute favourites that I've recently picked up off you only in the last week or so is the ceviche wasabi pea crush.
Yes.
Cheeky little bastard recipe, because you do a lot of these things where you make something that seems incredibly ostentatious and very fancy and really lights up a dinner party or a table. What's your slickest and easiest, you reckon? What's your go-to?
It's not on the. It's not on the menu at Depot right now, but it will be back on in a few weeks because we changed it out. We're doing an oyster sort of festival-y thing, but that, and I used to call that the Foursquare foraging dish, because it's basically just some soy, some wasabi, peas, and some kupi. Yeah. Basically, that's all it is. But and you took the only cooking we did was we took the soys and we added sugar and reduced it a little bit, sort of like 50-50, so it became a syrup. So, but with if you look after your fish and you chill it down. I don't cut my fish for a day, at least a day, leave them whole on ice, and the result of being able to cut a fresh mullet or a fresh trevally, a fresh kahawai that's been on ice for a day or 24 hours, and then just add those things. I don't know, it's just magical, and there's no, and again, that's what food's about. It's this. It's simple stuff, and the less you do with it, to me, the better the result.
To end on, I think I want to ask this question. Perfect day in the water. Who's on the boat? What's on the end of the line? And how does the day end? What dish are you cooking?
Good. Never. That's a great question. And immediately I went, brother Jeremy.
Yeah.
My brother, who I'm adopted, and we share the same father, but we didn't meet each other till we were 30.
Oh, wow.
And now he runs my whole business. So that's a really lovely...
Great addition.
I didn't put two and two together.
Right.
I've never put two and two together.
Yeah, how about that? And he's an extraordinary fisherman. He's definitely, and you know him, Dunc. I think you've met him before, and he's definitely in the 10%. So I had this, and isn't that funny? We didn't meet each other till I was 30, and he was 27, and we both played rugby, we both played squash, we both played tennis, we both loved fishing, we both did duck shooting.
This is nature versus nurture.
Yeah, the nature versus nurture thing. But his fishing ability. So going out, getting back to your question, going fishing with Jeremy is just a joy because he is so fucking good at it.
It's a guarantee.
And he has all the gear, and he has all the, he's just such a, he is a fucking amazing guy, and I absolutely love him to bits for a whole lot of reasons. But his patience around fishing and teaching, and the joy that he gets from seeing other people hook up, etc., is pretty extraordinary.
I was looking for a dedication in the front here. That might have
I mentioned him a number of times.
I like that transition that really good anglers make, because at some point they get huge joy out of watching other people catch,
yes,
or setting them up for success. Okay, so that's who's fishing with you.
Yeah, what am I catching?
Yeah.
Look, I think
330mm tins out of a chili bin.
Yeah. And the limit.
Yeah.
Look, I like a I think a trevally or kahawai would be the fish. I'm not a big blue coddy. I like snapper and things, but I like big flaked fish more than anything. The real grunty fish. And I'd be doing exactly what we're talking about. Just bringing it home, setting it up on ice, and eating it raw for sure.
Do you think, like, say for example, and I'm assuming your family goes with you up to your place up north.
Yeah.
The girls have become food critics, which is a real issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're very lovely though.
Yeah, yeah. their first handle was, "Dad, we don't rate it."
Yeah,
it
was rough.
It's
brutal.
just
They've
at
come
me.
round.
Just at me. Yeah.
But do you think, because most people look forward to that time of year, and you've got a bit of time off or whatever, do you try and like build those perfect days in your head because you're in a slice of paradise? And what we just talked about then, your eyes lit up, and you're like, "Yes, that's what I'd be doing. I love doing." Do you try and build those perfect days within the holiday mentally in the lead up?
The whole thing is each day pretty much resembles the day before.
Yeah, great.
In the sense of it's all about eating.
Yeah,
and it's all about and the girls, they're not interested in the fish. That's, "Dad, can you go and get it?" But they love the preparation, and they love that, and something about a holiday, even, when you're tenting, you can have such good cook-ups, and it's that people peeling garlic while you're having a beer and all these wonderful things. And you've got time, and the laughs and the no pressure and, getting a bit goofed off, before you get there. And, I love that whole process. And and right from the first coffee in the morning, a bit dusty, it's just like, here we go, let's do it again.
Do you look at, and this is you could probably wrap it up on this, you've got such a product range now, like there's not much that you haven't done. So do you look around all your shelves and go, rightio there, I'm starting with a bagel, I'm going to have something that I would have come up with, dreamt up out of Best Ugly, and then by that might be a mid-morning sort of setup and something out of the garden and a little bit of fish here, but might as well start tucking into a little bit of the wine that I've done as well. Obviously, you would have had a coffee, which you've got your own roast as well, which everything that is, once again, probably going back to the start, you just do cool shit and you take stuff that's been done a million times to death, but you somehow manage to elevate it. And it would lead me to believe that you're partially Japanese because they're the only other people that can do that.
Kaizen, constant state of what is it? Constant state of approval.
Yeah.
Oh, look, and that's we're getting back to what we sort of started. I don't really like the word entrepreneur either. I just like doing things with people, and I've been lucky enough. I think that if I have any sort of superpower, it's surrounding myself with some bloody awesome people that can do all the shit that I can't do, and I love that team. I love the collaboration. If you're with good people doing good shit, good stuff happens, and it's I always sort of say I still love winning tennis and singles, but winning in doubles is way more fun, in that sense of being able to share whatever you do with a whole bunch of people is just so much more fun.
You are the nucleus which we all spin around, and we absolutely adore you. Thanks for coming in, and I think we might have ragged a couple of copies to
here's another one.
Do you bring any more? I need to buy one for the kids. This is a little Christmas thing for them, so they start pesting. They want to flick because we live just in behind Tamaki Drive, so that they'll be down there with the United Nations just flicking away for a couple of squid at some stage.
Bloody good.
You've got no excuse. It's right down the road.
Exactly. No, they can go. See you later.
So they're doing the catching now.
Yeah, exactly.
The preparing.
That's one of the coolest things, I think. We were just listening to a piece on Steve Irwin and his kid, and he's like, that's when I feel like I've succeeded and I've handed on, my passion and my desire. Like my kids now go hunting with me and they eat hearts of deer and they have my little floating lures on top as shark fucking deterrents when I go spearfishing. They'll get smacked way before me, and I've got two of them. And they look the same. I've got one for parts. But I love that. Like my boys love being in it with me. And on the weekend they were picking. We put a whole bunch of herbs out in front of them. And we were stuffing a snapper that a buddy of mine got that the day before, and they pulled it together, and it was lemon and it was coriander, and then kaffir lime leaves were going in. Then I was like, this is good shit, because they're very sensory.
If they're connected to it, they'll eat it.
Totally.
If you give kids, tua fritter and they haven't dug the tours,
Yeah.
they probably won't eat it. But if they've dug the tours, they'll smash it.
Yeah, and that's one of the
Such a good
coolest
shout.
places, just in the Hauraki, getting cockles, because it's great little freediving exercises for
Yes.
them on a high tide. It's sort of like a 1 or 2 metre drop and breath hold and all the little bits of making you a better freediver. And then we go and make into a vongole when we get home, and they, that's
Mental.
to me that's living.
Yeah.
Living. Appreciate you, brother man.
Loud
I
and
know that
clear.
you're very busy. I look forward to coming in and seeing you soon. When are you on the tools next? Wednesday night?
What's today?
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Tonight?
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on the floor at Depot last night.
Ah, okay.
But thanks for having me on board, and what a great chat. Thank
Brilliant.
you.
This is Jay and Dunc's Not For Radio. Please don't leave bags unattended and collect all possessions at the end. Thank you.
Told you you'd love him.
Ah, isn't he just the greatest? The absolute greatest.
He is the king of
mate.
cool.
He really is.
How's that on the way out too? He's inviting us to go and stay at his place, and he's like, "When I'm not there."
Mate, this is. I literally just got this message from him not long ago. Hey, bud, what a joy hanging out with you two this Savo. Thanks so much for having me on your podcast, for all the nice things you both said, and your constant support. I look forward to hanging out up the line come January and sing out anytime either of you would like to use the batch. If it's free, it's all yours. Please just ask. Go well, Al.
What a guy! What a guy! There's something we could all aspire to, right?
Mate, we won't do him the disservice of showing you the slice of heaven that he's got. But trust me when I say this, aside from fucking buying a castle, what he has got is just my dream setup. Like, he is in a part of New Zealand, like I said in our chat, which has a surf beach followed by a protected cove that's great for fishing and diving in, followed by a surf beach, followed by one of the best left-hand point breaks. Can make, on its day, Raglan look like a fucking walk in the park.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Definitely go and click on that link in the show notes to check out his book. Al, appreciate you for giving up some of your time to come in and be on this wild roller coaster of a podcast. From backyard get-togethers to the post-match bevy, raise a glass to good times and great company with a bourbon that's best enjoyed together. Jim Beam, best enjoyed together since 1795. Thank you for your support, team. Appreciate you. And we will be back tomorrow with a slightly different edition of the Not For Radio podcast, because Jay will be on the Big Bird heading across the ditch as he's heading along to Melbourne.
Just got to. I'm a little bit older, so I need to have a warm-up night before having these big nights overseas now.
No, you
I
don't.
know how
No,
I
you
operate
don't.
best.
No, you don't.
And there is nothing worse than a cold start for this old fart.
Jeez. Put the motor up in him, eh? He's ready to go.
Just one of those guys, just hasn't even put the outboard in the water, just thumping it out of the water.
You're going to be the dirt bike that blows up.
Yeah.
The two-stroke that gets
It is.
revved too hard for too long. But yeah, I'll catch you over there on Friday as well.
Fucking, you better bring some absolute heat with you as well. I'm expecting big things.
Still recovering from last weekend, but I'll be there with bells on, and I will do my best